Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today and coming to our monthly webinar. Today, we're going to be talking about entrepreneurial benefits of publishing a book and creating that as your new business card. I have my colleague, Brian, who is going to be moderating, and he is on mute, but he's going to be watching the Q&A window. So if you have any questions along the way, pop them in there. And towards the end, we will get to as many questions as we can. So without further ado, let's get going. Hello, everybody. I'm Leanne. I have been with FriesenPress for just over 4.5 years, and I am the sales. I run the publishing consultant team, as well as I do speaking engagements and run our referral program and all kinds of hats over here at FriesenPress. I started off at FriesenPress as a publishing specialist, and it gave me the opportunity to really work a lot with authors one-on-one and get to know them, get to know their projects, get to know what authors and writers know before they start the process, and more importantly, what they don't know. And so I've been in this role now for almost 3 years, and I love to come and talk to writing communities and professional communities about the publishing process so that everyone can start to make decisions about their journey as early on as possible in their own writing and in their own writing process. That's a little bit about me. And I always like to start this presentation off with a quote by Ryan Holiday. Anything that genuinely and authentically establishes your expertise and gets you attention can be a business card. Traditionally, a business card is the way to introduce yourself when you're in any kind of setting. It's a snapshot of who you are and what you do. And today we're going to look at how publishing a book can serve as, your ultimate business card. It's going to be something that not only communicates your expertise, but does so in a more persuasive and memorable way and helps to establish yourself as a thought leader in your industry or your niche, more so than a business card would. So on the agenda today, we're going to explore direct your business and your customer benefits. We're going to look at who stands to gain the most, so which professionals this is a great fit for. We're going to talk about practical next steps, including a little bit of what makes a great book and how to make sure your book is going to work for you once it's out in the world. And we're going to have a Q&A at the end, as well as the QR code will be up there. And I think Brian will link it for everyone too, just in case you can't scan a QR code to enter to win a free manuscript evaluation. We're going to give away one to everyone. It's one person in attendance today. So let's start off. So we're going to talk about business benefits first, how it builds your credibility, increases your business value, will attract attention, and will essentially be a walking advertisement for you. So starting off with building credibility. A professionally published book immediately is going to set you apart from your competition. It shows that you're invested in your business. It shows that you're invested in your customers. And it shows that you've invested time and effort to share your expertise to everybody. It's essentially social proof that you're serious about your craft, that you're serious about your work, that you're serious about supporting your customers or your followers or whomever. And it creates a credibility that you really can't gain from handing out a business card or just, paying for a Google ad or a Facebook ad or things like that. So it really does help you set yourself apart from others in your industry. It's going to increase your business value. So your book is going to be essentially part of your company's intellectual property and part of your brand. And so it's going to strengthen your position. It's going to add value to what your company offers. Like I said, the biggest part about this is really establishing yourself as that professional and that thought leader. And it can even, if your book is out there in the world, it can even bring in some investors or partners who see you as that authority and as that expert in your field. And and it could bring you people to work with, business-wise as well as customer-wise. When we look at attracting attention, books get noticed by clients, by media, by your peers. A book is going to open up new opportunities for you. So things like speaking engagements, podcasts, interviews, more media attention. It's providing a natural reason for people to feature you and reach out to you and come to find you. It's also not only, business partners and new media opportunities and new outreach, it's also going to invite people to you, quality, skilled potential employees. So you could and will likely see higher quality candidates that want to work with you because they can see that you're the expert in what you're talking about and that you're providing that value. It signals strong leadership. It helps you to present a clear vision. It shows that you're confident in what you're speaking about. And that can all really work together to attract quality, talented team members who will come to you readily aligned with your mission and what you're trying to do. It also serves as a walking advertisement. So, you get a business card and you put it in your purse, or you put it in your wallet for later. A book is out there. People are going to be reading it on the subway, depending where you live, subway, bus, while they're waiting for their coffee at a coffee shop. So it continues marketing your business long after you've handed out a copy or sold a copy. It's a more permanent fixture in the world than a business card that lands in the bottom of a purse would be. It's also, people love to read in public. I know I do. And so you have the people that are reading about you who are already thinking of you as a thought leader and potentially wanting to follow your mission. And they're out there reading and attracting others for you. So it's going to get, not only is it going to be, on shelves, but it's going to be generating lots of organic interest as well out in the world among like-minded professionals, which is a really great thing to have. Next up, we're going to talk about your customer benefits. So how it proves your expertise. It gives them professional content. It helps to build a relationship with a client before you necessarily even talk to them. And like I just talked about a little bit earlier, it helps customers find you. So starting with proving your expertise. From the reader's point of view, from your potential client's point of view, your book is demonstrating that you're not only knowledgeable, but you're willing to share that knowledge. I think that is really an underestimated quality in business professionals, because so many business professionals have, the ultimate recipe for success, or, a way that they do things that really works. And they want to keep that really close to their heart. And they don't want to share a lot of that information because they want to be the successful ones. They want to be the ones who are, reserving all of that knowledge and all of that information. And being willing to share your knowledge to support other professionals, but also prove that you are a thought leader and you have forward-thinking ideas, is going to be an asset. It means that you aren't keeping everything that you're doing a secret. Of course, we're going to all have a couple secrets, but it's showing that you're here for the industry that you're in and not necessarily just for yourself. So it's really proving your expertise as a credible source. It also delivers professional, valuable content to those who are reading it. So a well-produced book, it's going to stand apart from blog posts or YouTube videos. It's signaling that you're serious and you're willing to put the work in to produce something that is of quality. Readers are going to see your work, and potential clients and potential business partners are going to see your work as an investment in their growth, which is going to deepen that trust instead of just an investment in your own growth. And it really, creating a book also is just such a great opportunity to stand out in today's world. If you were a human who is writing a book today, it does really stand out. There is a sea of AI generated content out there, and being able to come to the table with something that you have written yourself, with as much support as you need, but it's going to really separate you from AI generated material that's out there that anybody can just type it into, a computer and get the same answer. It's going to really set you apart. Talking about building that relationship, I feel like building the relationship is sort of the undergoing theme of everything here. Is books create connections. And I'll say that happens whether this is an entrepreneurial book that you're working on, or a fantasy, or a memoir, or any type of book, is building a connection with your audience. And that, with a book, it really helps you to do that before you're even first meeting. When you're handing out business cards, that's you're actively meeting those people and handing them out, or going to a convention and leaving them on a table. This really helps your readers understand you, understand your mission, understand what you're trying to accomplish before that first conversation even takes place. So once you do connect with that individual, there's already a deeper sense of connection because they've already established that relationship and have that information about you from reading your book. They're going to hear your voice, and they are truly going to start to feel like they know you through that book. And that familiarity is going to build trust, not only with the person who's reading it, but that person's going to talk to their family and their friends, and their opinions and their referrals and things like that are also pre-building that trust, because they're talking to anybody who's willing to listen to them about what they've already established with you and the information you've already given them. And it's going to not only help you drive sales of whatever your niche or your company or what you're doing is about, but it's going to help with those referrals too, which we all know word of mouth is so important. And as we've already covered as well, it's helping new customers find you. A book extends your visibility beyond just traditional marketing. So like we've talked about, it extends it beyond a blog post. It extends it beyond a YouTube video. It extends it beyond a business card. And while there's going to be people directly in the industry that are picking up your book and reading it and connecting with you, someone might see your book on a bookshelf in a bookstore, or on Amazon, online, or a retail listing. And once they've picked up that book and they've read it, they're more primed to engage with your services. You're more likely to see customers and referrals and contacts and connections out of that book than you would in the other avenues. Here we go. Next up, we're talking about the types of professionals that benefit. So really, any type of professional could benefit from writing a book, but the ones that are most likely to benefit are industry experts, advisors, professional speakers, coaches, business owners, consultants, and thought leaders. I say thought leaders a lot during this presentation because that is really what having a book does, is it establishes you as a thought leader. And so if you're already an expert in your field and you have a specialized knowledge and you have experience that others rely on, Publishing a book really allows you to formalize that expertise. It's going to turn your personal and business insights into a tangible resource that people can refer to again and again. So again, not like a business card where you're picking it up and all we see is your contact info. People will refer back to your book and go, oh, I read that. Let me remind myself. And it's a really great piece to have. I know I have some business books at home that sometimes I go and I pull it off the shelf and I dive right back in. And by presenting that knowledge in a really accessible way, you're really positioning yourself as the go-to authority within your industry. And so that visibility comes with, the visibility that comes with that book really is going to open doors for you. It's going to lead, like we've talked about, to speaking engagements. People are going to seek you out for your advice. They might get you to come and do, a guest blog or a guest column in a newspaper, more media appearances. And essentially, your book is becoming that business card. It's a tool that you can communicate your expertise, your credibility, and far more persuasively and memorably than a business card would. If you're an advisor or a coach or a consultant, word of mouth is primarily the way you get clients and sales with that. And so it allows you to showcase your methods, your client success stories, and you can demonstrate measurable outcomes in your book as well that other people are going to see and relate to and love to hear about. And when your potential new clients are reading that book, they're getting a firsthand look at what your process is, what your results are. And like we said before, it is really building that trust and that connection before you even meet them. And your book really acts as a natural filler. So if you are advising in a specific capacity, that book is going to help pre-qualify your ideal potential audience. People are going to be coming to you that have read the book that already know the way you work and know the way you do things. And so it's pre-qualifying them to work with you in a way, and it's going to really help fill in and allow you to move faster with those clients as well. Business owners can leverage a book to really chronicle their journey, everything. We've seen books from about founding the company, overcoming challenges, major milestones that they've reached. And this type of storytelling can really humanize you and your brand and give your audience insight into your values and your mission and your vision. And I really love seeing those types of stories come through personally. I love reading them. I love knowing what challenges a business has overcome to get where they are and how they've dealt with situations ethically. And it really, in today's world, businesses can have a very big online appearance through ads or blog posts or marketing, just online marketing. And a book really brings that human element. Just like, going and talking to a room full of people is going to bring a lot of humanity to your business, where if you're really focusing just on online marketing and things like that, there isn't always that feeling of that human voice behind it. So being a business owner, it's really essential to separate yourself in that way. People want to work with people they know and they trust. And that book's going to help you build that trust early. And finally, thought leaders, which thought leaders could really apply to all of the above. They benefit tremendously from publishing a book. If you are a thought leader and your goal is to share your vision, inspire change in your industry or in the world, and shape the future of it, a book is one of the most powerful tools available. It allows you to present bold ideas, introduce new frameworks, and explore future trends and patterns, and really get into the nitty-gritty. Publishing thought leadership content positions you as someone who not only participates in your field, but helps define it, helps build it, helps to inspire that change, and shows that you want to influence that industry and that niche that you're looking at. It shows that you have a vested interest and you want to influence the changes and the future of it. It extends well beyond your immediate audience. Sorry if you guys just heard a train. A train just went by, so I apologize if you guys just heard that. And it really shifts your conversation, or shifts the conversation you're having within your industry by helping you be positioned as that thought leader. It's going to amplify your voice, and it really could lead to other industry experts or leaders in your industry or niche taking a more serious look at your positioning because you've established yourself this way. So when we're looking at where to start, it really comes to publishing a book that's going to support your business. And the first big step is to define your objectives. So you want to begin with a book proposal. What this is going to help you do is clarify the purpose of your book, the message you want to convey, and the audience you're trying to reach. Essentially, a book proposal is a map, a roadmap that will keep your book and your project and your progress focused. And it's a really great tool to share with everybody who's contributing along the way, editors, designers. It's a really great way to keep everybody on the same page and ensure that you don't strive far from the path and you stay set on those initial goals to contribute to your business. Next, that stuff is easy. You just start writing. As a professional, you already have the knowledge, a wealth of knowledge, experience, and the insights that your potential clients and audience and fellow business like-minded people can benefit from. And the key to begin putting those ideas down on paper is to just start. Just start putting it down. One great way that we talk about sometimes when we're talking about writing is the SLAM method. And that stands for, if you haven't heard of it before, stands for story, lesson, application, and mythology. And each part of that is sort of a mythology that is going to help you with your framework and engage readers while delivering actionable value for them. So I'm just going to do a little breakdown of each of those for you as well. So story. Every chapter, and ideally every key point that you're making, should begin with a story. This could be your story. It could be a client story. It could be something you read. And it's important that it's directly related to the topic you're discussing. So stories are what's going to hook your reader. It's what's going to build that relationship, and it's what's going to make your content relatable. And it's really important to have your book be relatable to your audience. The story aspect is going to give context, and it's going to give more meaning behind your ideas, the application you're trying to give them, their next steps, and what to do. Lesson is you always want to clearly state what your takeaway is in your book, what the moral of your story is. It can be a sentence or a paragraph. I would keep it short, but sometimes it could be a chapter if it needs to be. But the point is to really make sure your reader or your potential clients are fully understanding why the story you're telling matters. Often the story itself is going to help them grasp that already, but being very blunt and straightforward and stating it explicitly is going to reinforce that idea for them. Application. You want to show your readers how to use the knowledge that you're giving them in their own lives or their own businesses. So it's critical to broaden the relevance beyond just your original story. You want to give your readers and your potential clients and your fellow industry professionals clear examples, scenarios that they can use to apply the information that you're giving them. And finally, methodology. Methodology essentially is a step-by-step approach. So really putting in the practical framework or the tools that your reader or potential client can implement immediately. It's the payoff for your reader. It is the thing that is going to help them to solve the problem. It's going to be the step-by-step actionable deliverables they can do to apply to the challenge that they're looking at right now in their life or their business, and put that into gear. And so the SLAM method is really a really great way to start your framework. And in the planning and writing stage, you really want to keep in mind that with entrepreneurial books, you don't want them to be too long. So we like to say aim for 25 to 45 or 50,000 words. Keep it to 10 chapters or so. And this is going to allow you to keep your message more focused, practical, and a quick read as well, easy to finish. You want to be specific and use everything you can to establish yourself as that thought leader, but you also need that to be relatable. And if you're diving into a book with tons of business jargon and big fancy words that your clients or your readers might not really understand, then you might be going a little too far. We want to keep it simple for them while still being professional and very directive. And so each chapter, like I said, we like to keep it to 10 or less with these professional books, if possible. There is always a time and a place for more than 10 chapters, but you want to make sure each chapter is delivering that clear and actionable insight that is serving your business goals. And so you want to be refining your ideas, removing that fluff, that big jargon that we talked about. And the result of that's really going to be a book that's easier to produce, more likely for people to read, and will really help to serve to convert your audience into your clients and your fellow potential business partners and things like that. And once you have a working draft, I'm going to talk a little bit about editing in a little bit, but once you have your draft, you always want to start working with an editor. A professional editor is really fantastic. There's different types of editing and different levels of editing, but an editor is really going to help you organize your thoughts and refine your ideas and ensure that your manuscript is polished, professional, and is going to sit and be viewed in the way you want it to be viewed with your readers. And editing is crucial. It's an absolutely mandatory step because you really want to make sure that your book communicates what you're trying to communicate clearly and persuasively to your readers and your potential clients. But just writing can be a little daunting. And some of us, myself included, not a writer. So where do you start if you're not a writer? There's a few options here. You don't have to be a writer to be able to establish yourself. We can always look at book coaching and ghostwriting to help you get that started. So book coaching is having a professional book coach who you are having to guide you throughout the writing process. What they will do is they'll work with you on your goals, and they're going to help you structure your ideas, keep you on track with your goal. So, if your goal is to write a book within the year, they're going to help you establish that plan to keep you on goal to get to where you want to be. They're going to help you look at your language and make sure that your message is clear and aligned with what your business goals are. And with a coach, you do maintain all of that creative control while you're benefiting from expert guidance as well. And before I move on to ghostwriting, I will also plug here that FriesenPress actually just recently started offering book coaching. We have some excellent pre-vetted book coaches that are really ready and here and to want to support you through that writing process. So if book coaching is something you're looking at and you're already in contact with us, make sure you talk to your consultant about it and what it entails and what the options are. And they'll have lots of great information for you. It is a really great tool, and it's such a helpful guideline for anybody who wants to be established as a thought leader. But book coaching means you're still writing. You are still writing. So if no writing is on the table, you want to look at ghostwriting. So you can hire a professional ghostwriter. In FriesenPress, we don't have ghostwriters, but we do have book coaches. And what they're going to do is they're going to turn your ideas into a narrative. So ghostwriters will specialize in translating your expertise into content. And lots of times what they'll do is they'll do that through a series of interviews. They'll meet with you a bunch, write down, ask you a bunch of questions, listen to you talk, and then they will write for you. And so you still will maintain, your creative factor. You will still get to, depending on what that contract looks like, have final say in, what aspects make it into the book and what doesn't. But with a ghostwriter, their goal is or should always be to reflect your voice and deliver maximum value based off of your expertise and keep your content focused on your business and your potential clients and potential business partners and readers as well. So let's dive into the elements of a great book, not a good book, a great book. And that's professional editing, a catchy book title, marketable cover. That's a big one. Cover. I'm excited to talk about that. A very focused back cover content, which back cover content is typically, the about the author and about the book sections. Sometimes one, sometimes both, and a high quality print. So these are all the elements of what are going to bring you out with a quality, great book. And so looking at professional editing, behind every single great book that is out there is a great editor or two. And I say two because lots of times editors will specialize in a specific type of editing. And generally speaking, you'll always have somebody different, a new editor, do a final review, a final proofread of that material. And so professional editing isn't just something to me that's advisable to the industry. It's not just something that's advisable. It's absolutely imperative. And it's so important to make sure you're working with professional editors, because one small error that's caught by maybe a potential reader or potential client can lower the perception of your book's quality. Your information, what you're delivering, your thought leadership might be absolutely divine. It might be life-changing. And if it's riddled with spelling errors, it's gonna lower the perception of that quality, and it might deter somebody from working with you altogether. So you want to make sure you're working with a professional editor. They're also going to help you bring a fresh perspective to your work. An editor will also look at your work as though they are the reader to start, so that they can identify what areas need stronger editing, or what areas need to have shift in language and things like that, because they will be thinking about it from what a reader who might have no idea what's going on in your industry, how they would retain that information and how it would be delivered to them. And it's so important that you're looking at it from the reader's perspective, because you're in your industry every single day. You're in there and you're talking, and even I'm guilty of it. I'll use, shortened language or abbreviations, and that's great for people that you're talking about at work or in the industry. But if you're talking to potential clients and things like that, they're not always going to necessarily understand exactly what you're saying. And so while you're writing it, it seems like a no-brainer. It seems you're typing it out and it seems like, of course, everyone's going to understand this. An editor is really great at being able to point out that, no, your reader is not going to understand this part. We need to do this. And they're going to work together to make sure that it really is digestive for anyone who's reading it. Moving on to a catchy book title. So a book title, along with the book cover, which we're going to talk about, is your first impression. And first impressions, as we know, are everything. The title is often the first thing, in addition to the cover, that the reader notices. And in a crowded marketplace, your niche might be crowded or not, but in a crowded marketplace, a strong title is going to create that intrigue and communicate what the essence of your book is. So you want to have a well-chosen title that's going to support your visibility online. It's something that will help you be more searchable when you're looking at different platforms. So if people are going on to Google and searching things and you want your book to pop up, you want to make sure it's something clear and searchable and easy for your readers to connect with. And a book title is really also going to help set your readers' expectations before they even dive into the book. So you want to make sure your book title is on point. And so what exactly, you may ask, will make a title work? And so first, know your audience. You really do need to know the language and the phrases that are going to resonate with them. Titles need to reflect interests or needs or current challenges, and they should also be staying true to what your book's core message is. It sounds tricky, but lots of people come in and already know definitively what the title of their book is going to be, and lots ask for editor support and get support and get feedback before really honing in on a title. You want to make sure that you have a punchy main title, so something that is easy to follow, quick. And in lots of times with entrepreneurial books, you also will benefit from having a clarifying subtitle. So your main title is going to grab that attention, and the subtitle is going to really clarify what readers are positioned to gain from reading your material. And so, for example, one book that has these elements would be Lead Without Fear, the 5-step guide to confident decision making. So the main title being Lead Without Fear, and the subtitle being the 5-step guide to confident decision making. That main title hooks them in, and that subtitle promises them value and gives them specificities in what they can expect when they pick up your book and digest it. And finally, the last thing I would say too is check for originality. It's common to have some books that have similar titles, but you want to check to make sure there aren't already 5 or 10 books out there with your exact title, because that is not going to set you apart. So definitely check for originality, and try to come up with something that doesn't already exist. Moving on to the cover. Covers are my favorite part of a book. I am a big reader, so I love talking about covers. And a great cover is truly more than just artwork. It really is. It needs to stand out. It needs to make an impression that really sticks. And it needs to entice people to buy your book. A good cover is also really great. You want to have a really great cover, because if you're receiving marketing attention, you want to have something out there that's attractive to be out there on screens and in the world. Your book cover should appeal directly to your target audience. And it should really, when you're looking at a book cover, it's easy to see, okay, a 6x9 book cover, great. That looks great in person. You also want to consider what it's going to look like on a little thumbnail on the internet as well. So not too crowded, not too busy. You don't want to overstimulate people that would be trying to look at it online. And the colors and imagery you're using should always be aligning with your brand as well. So remember that a book cover, everyone says, don't judge a book cover by, or don't judge a book by its cover, but we all kind of do a little bit. So make sure that you are working with a professional to have a great design and marketable cover. It's going to help build your credibility and really show that you've put the thought and into this book, and that you are taking it seriously as an expert. Focus back cover content. This is really important, because what do you do as soon as you pick up a book and look at its cover? You flip it over and look at the back. So you want your back cover copy to be written with your reader in mind. So you want to focus on your audience, what they stand to gain from reading that, the transformation or insight or solution it's going to deliver. And your back cover content should also answer the question, why should I read this? You should make clear what your unique selling proposition is and what sets your book apart from other titles. Ideally, when you're looking at that back cover content, you want to keep it to no more than 250 words. You don't want it to be too wordy. It should be strong and descriptive. It could include a really compelling tagline, or perhaps even, a few standout reviews from other industry professionals or peer reviews. And when you look at all of these things together, it's going to communicate your book's promise and really reinforce what authority you have within the field. And last but not least, high quality print. It is one thing to put all of this strength and effort into a book and then have something look really cheap. And we never want to see that. Think of your print edition as a reflection of your brand. Think about the quality of the paper, the finish of the cover, and just the overall craftsmanship of what's going into that book. You need to remember you're trying to build your credibility. So if your book looks cheap or is low quality, it's not going to necessarily attract the readers that you're hoping that it will. For lots of us, we're only going to publish one book in our lifetime. So you want to make sure that your print edition has really the power to impress and last for years and years and years. You want to make sure that the tactile, so that feeling of that book, is just as strong as reading it. That's really important when you're looking at your print options, making sure you're choosing great print on demand partners, and make sure you're choosing great bulk print partners as well. And next up, we're looking at ways to optimize. So brand recognition, media kits and info packages, speaking engagement, peer reviews, and partnering with reputable companies. So ways to optimize your book promotion here. Brand recognition. Your book is a powerful tool, and this is going to be the biggest tool to help reinforce your personal and your business brand. So you want to make sure that it carries your brand clearly. Your logos, your visuals, everything should align with your overall identity of your business. And you really should think of it as a living, breathing extension of your professional identity. You want to make sure that if someone looks at your book, they can instantly pair it with your business. And when you first have everything coming out, a great thing to do is look at media kits and info packages. Send out media kits to journalists, bloggers, potential collaborators. Put together, a couple of things, maybe a bookmark, and, depending what you sell, if you make tea if your business is tea, include some tea, and make sure you're including your book. Think of it like handing out your business card, but it's a media kit and it's going out there, and you want it to represent you in a tangible, you and your business in a tangible way. And it's a really great way to build momentum and curiosity in your book as well. Speaking engagements, whether you're looking at keynotes or panel discussions, or even just your initial book launch, you want to have these types of events with your book in tow. It's going to create an opportunity for your networking, your lead generation. It's going to help you attract the media attention you're looking for. So always have copies of your books on hand and plan these types of engagements. Plan to have people out to hear what you have to say, and make sure you have your book on hand all of the time. And we talked a little bit about peer reviews and testimonials already. These are fairly crucial for building your credibility. Of course, at the beginning, you might not have them right to start, but as you continue to go, collect these reviews from experts in your industry, endorsements, your early readers, and share these on your website and your social media, and help to put it with your book listings, and really try to generate those reviews, because a book that comes with recommendations is going to carry far more weight than a book that comes without recommendations. And last but not least, partner with reputable companies. So make sure that you're collaborating with respected organizations that are going to help significantly amplify your book's reach. Co-branded events are fantastic. Joint promotions, distribution through established networks, and exposing your book to new audiences are going to help reinforce that visibility. So finding strategic partners, not just to help you throughout the publication process, is ideal and most beneficial, but post-publication, your marketing, and you're using it as a marketing tool, those collaborations are going to help you build your credibility and really bring out more potential clients and more readers, and bring you more business. And so that's where we kind of come to the end of our presentation. I'm going to pop up here the manuscript, the evaluation QR code. I think Brian is also going to pop it into the chat. But we're giving away one free manuscript evaluation, like I talked about at the beginning of our presentation. And we're going to be giving one away to somebody here today. So make sure you check your email over the next couple of days and see if you were that winner. But you can use that QR code or use that link to enter. that information is going to come right to my email, and we'll connect with you if you are selected. I will leave that up, but next is just questions. Brian.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much, Leanne. Got a question here from Kim, and this came in pretty early. And Kim was asking if it's suggested that people literally hand a book out like a business card. Does it always have to be maybe a physical book, or what are some other ways that people can maybe get their books out to people?
That's a great question. So yeah, it is recommended. You always want to have books on hand. If you're planning to physically hand it out as a business card, you don't want to have a big book. You want to have a little guy, something that'll fit into a couple copies into your purse or into your, briefcase or something like that. Another great tool that you can use is a reader copy. So you can, with most publishing partners, you can purchase a specific file that would be essentially a PDF or an EPUB of your book that you could have kind of watermarked to say, reader copy, or if you're doing a Kickstarter copy or something like that, so that you have that file and you can share that. If you're planning on giving them away anyways and not always charging for them, that's a really great tool to have, so that you don't have physical books on hand, but you can give someone a QR code to go download it, or chat them a link in an email or something like that. And you can get a specific file that would be supported, either PDF or, like I said, EPUB on some different readers.
Cool. Yeah, and I wanted to add to giving away excerpts of your book as well, like on places like LinkedIn, linking to a chapter, something like that. They can be a great way to give people a taste of your book, and whether you give them the full thing out after, or maybe they even buy it. That's a great way to sort of funnel people towards a purchase or learn more about you and your business. Got a question here from Pamela, who asked about getting book reviews. I think you mentioned those as being something to feature maybe on the cover. And Pamela's asking how to get reviews by places / people like Kirkus or critics. So you have any tips about that?
Yeah, it's a great idea. So I think the key to getting book reviews, if you want them to be featured on your cover, is to get them as early in your process as possible, but not too soon, because you want it to still be polished enough that you can say to the people you're sending it to, this is the rough, this is an advanced reader copy, so it's not completely finished yet, but they can read it to give you those reviews. And so advanced reader copy, very similar. You can usually get an advanced reader copy PDF file with your publishing partners. They will usually create that for you if that's something you're looking to do. And Kirkus and Clarion reviews are paid reviews. So that is something that if you were, say you were working with FriesenPress, we could coordinate that for you. We would, as soon as your book was polished to send off for that paid review, whoever your publishing specialist is would coordinate that for you. If you're looking at getting reviews to be included on your cover, you're going to want to send out that advanced reader copy. Find professionals in your industry, highly regarded ones if you can. If you're in your industry, you're going to know who those people are more than we are, because you're in your niche industry. So finding those people within your industry, maybe there's some local bloggers or journalists who do book reviews and things like that, and you can send your advanced reader copy off to them. And so it's really just finding who is going to be the most beneficial to have a quote from to put on the cover of your book. And in those cases, you're the one who's in your niche. You're going to be the one to really identify who's going to be the best one and who you want to send that out to.
Yeah, got a lot of questions coming through the chat. Just wanted to remind everyone, if we don't get to you here, we'll be following up afterwards. So please don't be shy. Pop those questions in, and we'd love to follow up. Leanne, if you want to put your contact info up on the screen too, maybe people can reach out to you directly if they have any questions.
Yes, you can pop me an email and I can connect you. Either I can connect with you or I can connect you with one of my consultants.
Wonderful. And got a question here from Helga, who wants to know, what's a first step for someone who wants to start publishing? What's a first step that they can take after after today's sessions wraps up? I totally butchered that question. Sorry, Helga.
If I understand the question correctly, we have you have your finished rough draft of your manuscript. And at that point, if publishing that is something you want to pursue, the next step is a manuscript evaluation. So what you would want to do is you'd want to talk to a publishing consultant, talk about your book's needs, wants, what's been done to it already, what hasn't been done, what your goals are, and put together a suite of services that's going to help you to get your book to where you need it to be with your goals in mind. And the very first step is always that evaluation, whether you do that evaluation standalone as its own service, or you choose to go full force right with a publishing path to start. We are going to read your book as a first step and provide recommendations for both your metadata and your editing as well.
So, yeah, thank you for translating that garbled question that I asked. That was a great answer. I got a question from Jeff here, who asks, at what stage in a business's growth does publishing a book make the most sense?
Great question. I really love that. And I think it depends on who you are and how established you are. So you could be somebody who's just started a business, but you're already well established in your industry. If that's the case, if you're already well established and you have the experience, then when you're starting up that business is the perfect time to do that, because you already have established yourself, and industry professionals are likely going to know who you are. And if you're jutting off and starting your own journey, then doing that alongside a book is a really great idea. If you're somebody who's newer to the industry and starting your business right away, I would say that establish yourself a little bit first. Get through the growing pains of your business. So like we talked about in the presentation, a really great catch to an entrepreneurial book is talking about that startup and talking about challenges that you overcame as a business owner. And if you're just starting out your business and you're not quite that established yet in the industry, get through some of those kinks, get through some of those challenges so that you have the credibility and the experience to really hone in on your readers and draw in their attention and show that you worked through some of those things already. So you don't have to be someone who's been had a business for 10 years. It could be, a year after you open your business, but go through some of those growing pains so that you can talk about the challenges you overcame as well.
Yeah, love that. And our final question for the day is from Natalie. I think this is kind of fitting note to end on, is asking about timelines. So what is your standard timeline to be able to launch a book if one already has a draft of the manuscript? Can you share the simple steps on how to proceed from there?
Yeah, and so that's a great question. And so every book is going to be slightly different. Every timeline is going to look a little bit different. Like I said, that first step is that evaluation, and an editor is going to read your book and they're going to give you an editing recommendation. If you come in to the publishing process and you've already had it fully edited and you're very happy with where it's at and you have no desire to pursue further editing, then it can be fairly quick. You could be looking at 4 to 6 months from the time you start working with your publishing specialist. If you come in and you have your rough draft, but you haven't undergone any editing yet, you might be looking more at the 6 to 8 to 10 month range, because each round of editing is going to take anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks. So each round of editing is going to add about a month onto your timeline. So I would say we typically see people through the process. I'd say the average is around 6 to 7 months. The longer and, being closer to a year, depending on how many editing rounds you go through and things like that. It also really relies heavily on how available you are for the process. So if you are readily and available and you're on top of your emails and you're reviewing things quickly, it's also going to go a lot quicker than taking, you know, maybe a month to review something as opposed to a couple of days. So keep that in mind as well. But I would say, to be safe, the average would maybe be about 6 to 7 months.
Here we go. That's about it. We got a whole bunch more questions, and like I said, folks, we'll follow up with you after the session. But thank you as always for being here and spending an hour out of your day with us. We really appreciate it, and hope you had a lot of hope you took a lot from this content. And yeah, I think that's about all from us. Leanne, did you want to say anything to wrap things up?
No, thank you so much for coming. And sorry, I was a little throat cleary today. And if you already are engaged with us and you have a publishing consultant, feel free to reach out to them directly with any questions you have. You can always reach out to me, like I said, over email, and either I will connect back with you or I'll connect you with one of my team. And yeah, we really look forward to supporting anybody who's getting into those next steps and wants to move forward with their book.
Totally. Yeah, I think as the months go on, you're going to see us get slightly snifflier and coffee as things go. You'll actually be able to track that on YouTube if you play things back over time. Yep. So you can look for that as we go along. But thanks again, everyone, for your time today, and we'll talk to you soon.